Hello everyone, how you doing? Set this up real quick at seccountry.com. Thanks. Howdy everybody. So what's up? What do you guys want to talk about? Auburn A-Day, the spring scrimmage, Saturday at Jordan-Hare Stadium, starting at goodness, when does it start? 3 p.m. Central Time. Hope I'm there. Yeah. So thanks, A Black. Appreciate it. Thanks for following me over to SEC Country. It's the first of many things to come. QBs at A-Day will not be live. They will not be tackled. So, sorry. You're really not going to get a really great look at what these guys are going to look like. It's kind of disappointing, I'm sure, but that's just the way it goes. Will Kyle Davis be full contact? I doubt it very seriously. What shampoo do I use? You're not excited for A-Day. You know what? A lot of people seem to think that. Um, last I heard they were sold about 15,000 tickets. I have heard that number may have actually been smaller. What's the format? It's going to go first team offense against second team defense. Then they'll start mixing things up from there. It'll be interesting to see who the first quarterback is out there. I do think you can look back and take a good look at what Jeremy Johnson did in previous A-Day games, especially last season. He didn't really have a great A-Day game. So be very interesting to see how he does. What group besides QB am I most interested in? Maybe the linebackers and the receivers, both inexperienced, though. I mean, listen, receiver, they've got two veterans coming back, and they expect them to step up. So 15,000, way down from years past. That's just pre-sale tickets. Most people buy their A-Day tickets on the day of the game. So there's no telling how many people will be there. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be about 50,000. Is Prince Tega playing? You'll see him out there probably. I mean, he's still got a lot to learn though. He'll be out there with like third teamers and all that. How's the secondary shaping up? They got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. But they've got some good pieces. Player to watch. I like besides the usual, I like Javon Robinson. I think the receivers are the players to watch. Watch Trey Williams at linebacker, how he handles things. Yeah. I will say this: interest in this A-Day is not what it was last year or the year before, or the year before that. I mean, it's. I think fans just want to see them win and do something before they buy back in. Yeah, I'm no longer with that group, CL. I'm with SECcountry.com. Let me block this person. I'm with SECcountry.com. So, New Digs, you will not be seeing me with those guys, though we remain friends. Very competitive friends, but we remain friends. Possibly you might see me doing some writers of my own, or videos of my own. Yes, I did leave. I am now with SECcountry.com. Check it out. Every SEC school is covered, including Auburn. Just go to SECcountry.com/Auburn for Auburn news. I'm not doing my podcast right now, no. No more podcasts. The big JUCO QB that transferred in, he's like 6'5", 240. Are you talking about Devin Adams, the walk-on? He's not that big. But, you know, you'll get to see him on A-Day. He hasn't been talked a lot about. He's been making a lot of mistakes in practice. We'll miss your insight into Auburn. Go to SECcountry.com. You're not going to miss anything. I'm still alive, and I'm still reporting on Auburn. I don't know why you think you're going to miss anything. Just go to SECcountry.com. I'm posting stories left and right every day. How does JF3 look? Talking to insiders, he has had a lot of problems with turnovers. He's not very, but he's been inaccurate. Yeah, CL, I mean, go to SECcountry.com/Auburn. Just like AL.com was, you had to go find the Auburn page. Go to SECcountry.com and find the Auburn page. John Franklin III has been inaccurate, throwing the ball down the field. He has had several turnovers. And as Rhett Lashley said, to kind of back up what I've been hearing, you're not going to start for Auburn if you're turning the ball over a lot. So maybe it's time to temper expectations a little bit as far as what to expect from John Franklin III, especially in this scrimmage coming up Saturday, and whether he'll end up being a starter come fall. Jeremy Johnson, they say his confidence is back. We'll see. I think right now, if I had to guess, based off of what I've been told and hearing and reading between the lines of what Rhett Lashley's saying in the public, that the order of quarterbacks that if they had to play a game tomorrow would probably be Sean White, John Franklin III somewhere in there, and then Jeremy Johnson. Though I think it would probably be Sean White as a starter, and then Jeremy Johnson might actually be the backup, and John Franklin III would be a change of pace quarterback that comes in to run the Wildcat. As of right now, he's still in the running to win the job. Yeah, thanks for sharing that leak, CL. That's the story with some inside info on John Franklin III. John Franklin III, I'll repeat it real quick. Very inconsistent throwing the ball down the field, and he has some footwork problems. Also, he's had several turnovers this spring, which the coaches absolutely do not like. I mean, that'll kill you in a quarterback competition. But he's got all summer. I just don't think they're going to decide on a starting quarterback. Job's doing great, Austin. I appreciate it. Thanks. A lot more freedom, able to do some more things, and I think you'll be happy with some of the coverage ideas we've got coming down the pike after A-Day. So stay tuned to SECcountry.com. Linebacker, Trey Williams, Deshaun Davis, Darrell Williams. I think that it's going to be, it's just really going to have to, man, they're going to have to lean on Trey Williams until this TJ Neal grad transfer from Illinois comes in May. Am I doing recruiting coverage? No, not really. I just tweet out whatever we do for Auburn. We have a recruiting writer that covers Auburn. His name is Chuck Kingsbury. So make sure and give him a follow on Twitter or check out SECcountry.com for his stories. He'll be at A-Day as well and covering the recruiting weekend this weekend. Cameron Toney, we have not heard his name at all this spring. Do I have to dress up at the new job? I wear what I wear. I figured I'd wear something nice for this since we're putting it up on the website instead of my usual DC comic shirt or something. Jeff Holland, he's doing very well. More of an edge rusher, not necessarily going to be playing linebacker, but with what the sets they're going to be running, the 4-2-5 and everything with a star-type player. Remember that a couple of years ago under Ellis Johnson? Well, it seems like you're going to get a version of it again this season just because of the personnel they have. They don't necessarily have all the linebackers that they need. Do they test for Mexican Coke? Man, I love Mexican Coke. It's great. I try to have one every day. One every day keeps the doctor away. Probably not. Probably worsens things. Young defensive tackles looking okay. I mean, Marlon Davidson's been the guy that everybody has said has stolen the show. Marlon Davidson is a player who is going to contribute next season, and his early arrival has only helped things. Incredibly fast, and they've got a great pass rush option on third down now on the interior. Obviously, Montravius Adams is there, Dontavius Russell, Devereaux Lawrence, but I think Marlon Davidson you're going to see on the field next season in some pass rush situations. Do I see Kevin Steele being successful? I'll tell you this. If he can't be successful with this defensive line that he's got coming and figure things out, that should be a big red flag. That this defense should be a lot better. Is Cowart likely on second team? Yeah, probably. Yeah. He did have a good... Clemson's had some great defensive lines over the last few years, and a lot of them underperformed up until this past year. Opposite defensive end from Carl Lawson. Why am I drawing a blank? Well, you would think it would have been Paul James III, but he's been injured, the newcomer out of junior college. Let me block this moron. But he's been injured with a foot injury. I think he's only practiced 5 times this spring, and they're up to 13 practices. The 14th practice is technically A-Day, and then they have a 15th practice on Tuesday where they just clean things up from A-Day, and then they call it a spring. But they've been moving Jeff Holland around, as I said, as a rusher. I really like that combination. Byron Cowart, of course, as well. Cornerback, Jamel Dean's getting some good feedback. Remember, he transferred in from Ohio State last year, had to sit out due to NCAA transfer rules, but apparently he's doing pretty well. Carlton Davis, of course, he'll win the starting job at one of those cornerback spots. And beyond that, the name we've heard a lot about doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play a lot next season, but just as far as development in the spring, because spring's all about development, is that John Broussard, the newcomer from nearby, I think here in Phoenix City, has done very well. He's been very impressive. But the big thing is that at the cornerback position, you not only have to have technique, but you also have to be pretty strong. It's a position where you've got to be strong and defending receivers, especially the big receivers in the SEC you go up against. So that's one thing he's got to start preparing for in the offseason workout program. But I feel like they're going to be okay at cornerback. And plus, you always have Josh Holsey coming off that knee injury. He could play safety or he could play corner. He could play nickel. But we'll see where they end up moving him. He might play several positions. Yeah, Carl Lawson does seem excited about playing an A-Day. I know it's just a scrimmage, but as you said, I mean the guy's never played in an A-Day because of injury, and he's finally going to get a chance. And someone asked him if he's going to be full speed, if they're going to let him go out there and do everything he can. He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go out there and do everything that I want." So, yeah. Yeah, no more satellite camps. It was a big discussion. I knew it was coming. Didn't know that it was going to be banned, but I know there was a big, strong support among some of the big conferences, not including the Big Ten, to ban them. I think the big reason for that, everybody talks about competitive advantage, but I think more or less, and the coaches may not really admit to this, especially some of the big ones who pride themselves on working hard and being in the office and on the recruiting trail a lot. They just didn't want the extra workload of having to, get these things together, go to these camps, make more contacts, and do all that. I just don't think that was in their wheelhouse. They did not want the extra work on their plate. Antoine Jackson, yeah, not a lot heard about him. Nope. Yeah, big CUSA. The conferences in favor were the Big Ten, the All-American Conference, Conference USA, and the MAC. And remember, Power 5 conferences, their votes count twice in that vote. So that's why it went down the way it did. Offensive line, I posted a story on that last night. They seem to have a pretty good idea of who their top 5 and top 6 will be. And when Rhett Lashley rattled their names off, he did it from left to right. So it sounded like he was giving us the starting positions left to right. And that would be, as of right now, Austin Golson on left tackle, Alex Kozan, Xavier Dampier. Goodness, why am I forgetting a name there at right guard? Wow, did I really just blank? Braden Smith, yes, Braden Smith. And at right tackle, you would have... goodness, why am I blanking on the right side? I have to pull my story back up. I can't remember what I had down. Yeah, Darius James. So Darius James seems to be working more at left tackle and is a backup at this point. Based off what I've been hearing. So, Robert Leff, yes, I'm really interested to see whether Robert Left's a starter when the season rolls around. Jordan Diamond's down the depth chart way down. In fact, I think I saw him working with the third team at one point. Yeah, Robert Leff. So there you go. Yeah, it's Golson, Kozan, Dampier, Smith, and Robert Leff. So I forgot about Leff for some reason, because Leff at some point was possibly looking at left tackle. But Darius James, a guy who's at left tackle and is backing up Golson. So you could see James at left or right side, depending on what's going on. Malik Miller's doing fine. I mean, he's just not going to be in that that race to win the starting job. He's just not. So he's a freshman. It's not going to happen. The Chicken Man from Toy Story. No offense. Okay. Is Queen's arm about to fall off? It certainly seems like it. He had that elbow surgery last September. That was pretty serious. And then now he's hurt his AC joint in his right shoulder. He's out for the rest of the spring. They don't think it's going to take surgery, but man, any hope of him winning the starting job, I think, has gone out the window this spring. Sorry to say. I think it's all over. Hate to be that guy, but certainly sounds like it. I think Herb Hand will have a significant impact on the offense, even though the coaches play it down. Gus Malzahn respects the heck out of him. I think that they're going to bounce ideas off each other, and they're always going to be providing insight into what they should be doing. Because, listen, Herb Hand and Gus Malzahn worked together as co-coordinators in 2008, and this idea that they will not continue doing that, I just don't see that. They're going to keep doing that, and I think you'll see some different things this fall. At least a little bit of Herb Hand's hands on this offense, even though they won't admit it. I don't think Woody Barrett's going to win the starting job. I've heard he's very inconsistent, so. Very inconsistent. Who is Robin? You mean Javon Robinson? Well, they haven't decided to make Javon Robinson the starter. So that's an issue. It'll be Rock Thomas. It's between Rock Thomas and him right now. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Is JJ's confidence back? They say it is, but we'll see. And we won't know until the season starts, to be honest. I mean, the guy's a senior. His time has probably come and gone. Do you think Derek Brown will be a starter once he arrives? He'll contribute, but I don't know if he'll be a starter. Gotta wait till he gets on campus. And everybody thought Byron Calvert's going to be a world beater, as the #1 recruit in the entire country, and he came in and absolutely did not live up to the hype last season. Sometimes freshmen are just freshmen. Yeah, I've heard that too about Duke being gone helping JJ. I thought it was a big-time mistake that they roomed those two guys together. It just didn't make sense to me at all. So, you know. You know what I'm saying. Is Petway going to get snaps over Cox? It depends on what they're looking at. Karen Petway's more of a blocker. Chandler Cox more of a guy that can go out and get passes. So, it just depends. What happened there with JJ and Duke? I mean, I don't know anything personally what happened between them, but we all know what happened to Duke. You know, he gone. He gone. Yeah, Kevin Steele really likes Travis Williams, so Kevin Steele still has a lot of hands-on approach there because that's just what's going on. Kyle Davis, why is he having a non-contact jersey? Because he has a shoulder injury, and they don't want to worsen it. So, does Gus like you more or less since you got the new gig? I've only conversated with him once, and it was just a short text message, him congratulating me. Other than that, no. He's busy. Here, Duke was a head case? Yes, Duke was a head case. I think that is fair to say. Do I like his new car, the BMW? I mean, who wouldn't want a BMW, man? Yes, Chandler. Gus has been more hands-on with QBs, but specifically, he's been more hands-on with John Franklin III. So, wide receiver, as I mentioned earlier, no one has stood out. And Rhett Lashley even admitted that. They don't have a go-to guy right now. And if I'm an Auburn fan, I'd be sitting there very concerned because now all of a sudden you got to turn to some of these newcomers, Kyle Davis included, who's already on campus but injured. Man, that is a lot to ask a freshman. The freshmen are going to have to play exactly Campbell. But can one of them step up and be like a 1,000-yard guy or 800-yard guy? I don't know. Maybe they'll be like the Fab Five. Can Cody coach him up? We'll find out. I have no idea. No one has any idea. And anybody who acts like they have an idea really has no idea. Hope you followed me there. There's no way to tell until those players actually go out and try and perform. But I'll say this. Cody Burns, in the 8 minutes or so, I was sitting next to him or standing next to him and asking a few questions. He said the word develop, developing, or development 12 times in an 8-minute span. So what's that tell you? These players, they're not in disarray, but they need a lot of polishing at receiver. Some people might take that as a shot to Damian Craig. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but they're quite young, yeah, but Tony Stevens and Marcus Davis are not young. I mean, Tony Stevens and Marcus Davis have been here a long time. Have I met Cam Newton? I have not. Jason Smith, in the short practice we've seen, we've been able to watch some pace drills. They've been throwing to him a lot, especially in short situations, bubble screens. I think Jason Smith would be the perfect receiver to throw bubble screens to because he's so fast and elusive. You get him there with a blocker in front of him. I mean, he could speed through, find a hole, and get some big yards. So I'm really interested to see how they use Jason Smith this year at receiver. I really am. I think he could be a huge weapon for him. Darius Slayton's been getting some good reviews, but I haven't seen a lot of them at spring practice. We'll see. A-Day is going to be very interesting to me, especially for those receivers and linebackers, as I mentioned. And you're exactly right about blocking, and Cody Burns has made that a big point. He said back in 2010, the reason why they won a national championship, one, obviously they had the best college player maybe ever in Cam Newton, but the receivers were hellacious blockers, guys that didn't give up on plays. And you saw that too in 2013 when that team went to the SEC championship and won and then went to the BCS title game. Those were amazing blocking receivers. Amazing. And they got to have that. They have to have that continue. That dropped off quite a bit last season at times. 9 wins, I don't know. I'm not into predicting wins right now, especially in the spring. I mean, I haven't watched these guys actually play in a scrimmage, let alone in a game. And people ask me how many wins is it going to take for Gus Malzahn to keep his job. I don't think it's really a matter of wins. I think it's a matter of who he defeats. I mean, if you lose to rivals Georgia and Alabama for a third straight year, the seat's going to get real hot unless you've shown a lot of progression and say you're 10-2 or 9-3 or whatever. Thanks. I like my beer too. It's a great conversation starter when you talk to sources. We're like, man, I like the beard. Yeah. It's great. Can you give me some information? You like the glasses? Thanks. I had to get them back in August. I was having all these headaches, and I was like, oh, what's going on? Then I went to the eye doctor, and they started doing the stuff, and I was like, whoa, I didn't realize I couldn't see. All right, let's block this dude. Oh, sorry, I think I just blocked the wrong person. Yeah, the opening slate for college football this season is going to be great. But man, we're still how many months away? 5 months away? 4 months away? 4.5 months away? It's forever. Pace this year, big thing. Right? Lashley said they got to get back to it, and he says on A-Day you're going to see it. So we'll see. Yeah, exactly. Till the chair. You sit in that chair and they put that, the whatever you call that, where they do the lenses and they're going, "What? How's this look? How's this look? How's this look?" And you're going, "Oh man, that looks like." The way I described it when I got glasses back in August, it was like seeing an HD for the first time. I was like, "Whoa!" Everything doesn't seem so like. Or even right now, I'm like, "Whoa." So yeah, I needed glasses, and there's no telling how many years I needed them. Stop the substitution and pace will return. I agree with that, Clint. That was a big issue last year. They kept substituting players because they felt like that's the way they could move the football. It's just, but they're going to have to get to a point if they want to do pace the way they used to. They've got to be able to. They've got to be able to keep the same players on the field for a drive, and substitute sparingly. You can't be bringing in 2 receivers here and there every third snap. I have no idea. I'm not following the Masters. I might follow the Masters a little bit on Sunday. I'm not a golf guy. I'm not. I used to play golf. And I say play golf. I mean, I played it a few times in junior high, high school, but so I'm not a golf. I just don't care. Would I ever want to cover a new sport? I don't know. I've thought about the NFL, but I think I'm more of a college guy. I want to be a regional writer who covers the SEC, or be a national writer who covers college football. I love college football. I bet I can putt. I probably can putt better than Ernie Els. I heard he 7-putted yesterday. That's bad. The 10-second substitution rule, yeah, but those are in certain situations. If the offense starts substituting. Auburn doesn't seem as big as other SEC teams. That's interesting. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Like, at what positions are you speaking of? Are you talking about along the offensive and defensive lines? Because, I mean, I think they're pretty sizable in the trenches. What I think about TJ Neal, I've heard that you're probably not going to like to hear this. I've heard he's kind of slower than people think, speed-wise, and reacting to the ball. But no one can deny the numbers he put up at Illinois. I mean, he put up some big numbers. And Auburn needs a big-time guy with experience back there, and I think that's why he's probably going to end up starting at middle linebacker. Is there an Alabama reporter that scopes? I have no idea. I'm sure there is. Maybe check out Mark Burnett. Mark Burnett covers Alabama for us at SECcountry.com. M-A-R-Q, by the way, Mark. Mark Burnett. Good guy. Does a good job. Fatty. Yes, I am overweight. But yeah, check out Mark Burnett. I don't know if he periscopes, but he's a good thing. I'm not moving to Atlanta. I'm staying in Auburn. The best way to cover Auburn is by being in Auburn, so I'm staying in Auburn. Versus Jacksonville State. Yeah, that game was a train wreck for Auburn. I think we all know that. Well, Arkansas especially. MC. Arkansas had the largest offensive line in the universe last year, and I'm not exaggerating. Their line was the biggest in football, college or pro. So, yeah, bigger than the NFL. The biggest NFL line was the San Diego Chargers last season. Is AJC and SEC Country the same company? It's owned by the same company, Cox Media Group, yeah, and we're in partnership with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. So, it's a big conglomerate. There is a comment section. It's just Facebook. You have to log into Facebook to comment. It's not like the thing we had at my previous employer. Cox Media, like the TV provider? Yeah, Cox Media Group. They do television. They do all kinds of stuff. I mean, they're not just television. They own newspapers across the country, including the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. They're a large billion-dollar industry. What QB has the best day? That's a great question. Why don't we get into that? Who do I think will be the best quarterback on A-Day? I think statistically it'll be Sean White. Thanks, Austin. I appreciate it. Kate, make sure you keep following along. I think Sean White will statistically have the best day. And beyond that, I don't know. If John Franklin III or, Jeremy Johnson will... Jeremy Johnson just hasn't performed great in A-Days. So that leads me to believe that Sean White will have the best day. I think a lot of people wish Sean White was taller. Thanks, Campbell. I like SEC Country too. It's easier to navigate, in my opinion. And we got some good stuff coming. You can subscribe to newsletters. So if you're not visiting SEC Country, and reloading the page a lot, which you should be doing because we're putting news up all the time, you can subscribe to our newsletter and it'll send you, up-to-date news. I love the layout. It's easy to navigate. You can go from school to school. Each school has its own page with the latest news. I don't think we have an app. And I don't want to speak out of place there, but man, that would be a great idea. But we're getting this thing off the ground. I'll just say that. How much should Carl play on A-Day with his history of injuries? Great question. I think you maybe put him out there for 2 series and then pull him. You don't want to risk anything. What record would I consider a successful season for Auburn? 9 wins. 9 wins or more. If you think about it, this was the season that Gus Malzahn was building toward as far as being back into being a championship season, because everybody thought Jeremy Johnson was going to be great last year. That didn't happen. And then they were trying to build up that defense once again. And then they were going to have Javon Robinson and that offensive line all built back up. And the defense was going to be great, apparently, and building it back up. This upcoming season, 2016, was supposed to be the year for them to contend. Not last season. And yet, here they are now where they're pretty much starting from square one, especially on offense. That's why I think the defense is probably going to be better than the offense, especially early in the season. Yeah, I mean, if Auburn has a season like last year where they got 6 wins teetering on possibly not making a bowl game, fans will bolt. And listen, I think even though it's an A-Day game and Auburn's charging $5 a pop, anything less than 40,000 people at A-Day Saturday is going to be a disappointment to Auburn, because this is a school that, under Gus Malzahn, 3 of their top 4 A-Day crowds, I think, have all come under Gus Malzahn. I mean, listen, 3 years ago, they sold the place out, or pretty much. They had 83,407, I think, or something like that. But anything under 40,000, that's a sign of things to come as far as fan support. It's possible, but, we'll see. Yeah, that's a good point. Good. That's a good point. Size, I'll say this: standing next to him, John Franklin III, man, he looks small, especially his legs. His legs look really small. Okay, guys, I think that's going to do it. We've been doing this about 45 minutes or so. So thanks for joining me. Make sure and check out seccountry.com. And if you're looking for Auburn-specific news, check out seccountry.com/Auburn. You can check out a replay of this Periscope session at seccountry.com/Auburn. I've got a story up already. All you got to do is go in there and click on it, and you will have the video to rewatch and share with your friends. So make sure and do that. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Enjoy A-Day if you go Saturday. We'll have plenty of coverage from A-Day. I'm sure I'll do a Periscope chat session or two before, and maybe at halftime or something like that, and after the game. We'll see. But, yeah, check out seccountry.com for more coverage across the SEC and Auburn. Thanks, guys. See you around.